So before we start this video, we got to talk about the move the Eagles just made as I was uploading. The Eagles re-signed cornerback Trevor Williams. Now, they cut him a few weeks ago, figuring that outside cornerback spot was going to be between Avonte Maddox and Sidney Jones. Well, Sidney Jones missed another practice today. It makes like 4 or 5 days in a row Sidney Jones has missed practice. And I don't think the Eagles are too happy. This is just my guess. And this is part of the reason why Trevor Williams is coming back now to the Eagles. Because they need another body to compete for that starting spot. Does it say something about Sidney Jones? Does it say something about Sidney Jones and Avonte Maddox? I don't know. But, we're going to talk a little bit more about Sidney Jones in this video later on towards the end when we talk about defense. But Trevor Williams is back, and you got to think it has something to do with Sidney Jones' injury. With that said, let's start this video. Jalen Reagor, baby. All I can say is, what a pick. Kick the red, double move on the red. Dallas still stinks. Everybody doing King Dingbat here, and I hope everybody's having a great Monday. I hope you guys are doing well. Thank God we got football, man. Thank God we got football right now going on. Get ready to come back, because I gotta tell you, after the embarrassment, the debauchery that I had to witness with my Sixers getting swept by the stinking Celtics, who I hate, I need football. Hey, we got the Flyers too. I forgot about them. Can't forget about them. I won't be streaming that game tonight, by the way. I got family still here, so it's not gonna be able to do it. But from game 2 on, we should be good to go. Okay, and we got a lot of channel memberships, a lot of things coming this week. Tinfoil, we're dropping a tinfoil dingbat, another conspiracy video. We got signups for a throne room of dingbats, fantasy football. So a lot of things going on this week. But I can't stream the Flyers today. Now. I'm sorry. My sinuses are killing me. You know, we got fires like all around here, right? All around here. I've changed my filter like twice. It's just ridiculous. And I got one of those really like air-stricken, real big, fancy filters that filter everything out. But man, it's brutal. It's brutal. My sinuses are killing me. It's nuts. Like I said, thank God we got football coming back. Because it helps get you through these things, man. I'm ready for week 1. Now, the Eagles back at practice today. They were in a padded practice. And we still had a lot of the same guys who have been out are still out. Derek Barnett, still out. Javon Hargrave, still out. Miles Sanders, still out. Sidney Jones, like the 5th, 6th day. Actually, like 4th or 5th day, he's missed with practice. And we're going to talk about him in a minute, but he was out. The guys who are out because of illness, everybody's returned, but Anthony Rush and John Hightower, they're the only 2 that remained out because of illness. Lane Johnson, still day-to-day. Andre Dillard got hurt yesterday. He was not in pads today, did not practice. I think he's day-to-day as well. But when it goes to the injury report, that's pretty much what we have going on right now. So before we get into practice, there are a few NFL things I want to talk about real quick. First, Earl Thomas going to the Cowboys. Every single Cowboy in the world, especially Mark Holmes and Michael Andrews Fitness, are all about Earl Thomas going to Cowboys. And I got to tell you, if he goes to the Cowboys, I don't care. You can't beat us anyways. And secondly, Nigel Bradham gets cut from the Saints after saying, hey, I'm finally landing with a winning organization. That winning organization said, we're double moonwalking your ass. You're out of here. So where does he go from there? Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. People talk too quick sometimes, you know. Now, as far as practice goes, let's start with Carson Wentz. Great practice. He did have an interception in the end zone. Jalen Mills made a great one-handed interception. We'll talk about that a little bit. But for the most part, Carson Wentz had a pretty decent practice. And one of the guys that he loves to go to is Jalen Reagor. Jalen Reagor is going to be an immediate impact. Everybody needs to start getting that in their minds. Get that sunken in your skull. Jalen Reagor will make an immediate impact, okay? First off, they are going to use him on punt returns. I expect to see him on punt returns and kick returns, but I think he's your number one punt returner. I watched for 20 minutes today him practicing returning punts, getting ready for it. He looks good, man. He looks good. He looks fast. And then on offense, he already gets first team reps. He was out there against Darius Slay today. Went deep. Carson threw a perfect pass to him. Good coverage. He made a really tough, really good catch on a perfect pass. Good all the way around. So much so that after the play, even Darius Slay was patting him on the helmet like, yeah, man, showing him some respect. Jalen Reagor will make an immediate impact on this team, okay? And every day he just shows himself. Him and Carson Wentz, really, really good practice today. Really good practice. Of course, we started our 11-on-11 drills today with, guess what? What do you think that this team started their 11-11 drills? First play, sack. Carson gets sacked. I think it was Duke Riley and Fletcher Cox combined on a sack. This offensive line is struggling a little bit. I did hear that Jason Peters really kind of got going at guard today, and he manhandled Fletcher Cox a couple times, which is a good sign. So maybe they're getting some continuity. You have Pryor at right tackle right now. You have Mulata at left tackle. So you don't have your two starting tackles in. I also heard some good things about Driscoll today. I heard that he struggled early in the week doing drills against Fletcher Cox. He really took advantage of Driscoll, and today Driscoll came back and gained not only Fletcher Cox's respect in the drills, but the defensive line was going up to him, patting him on the helmet too. So some improvements from him. Keep your eye on him, because he's a guy I think who could be pretty decent offensive lineman for this team. He's just got to develop. He's a rookie, but keep your eye on him. Another guy I got to talk about, and this is a guy that I haven't talked a lot about. You don't hear a lot about, because oftentimes with these camps and people watching, it's not a game. We have to remember that. But oftentimes, people say, well, I haven't heard this guy's name. That must mean he's struggling. Is he doing bad? And sometimes you don't hear their name because they're doing their job. Okay? And Greg Ward Jr. is having a very, very solid training camp. Okay, when they looked at the targets of 11-on-11, 7-on-7 drills, the most targets are going from the quarterbacks to the tight ends and to Greg Ward Jr. Greg Ward Jr. is making a lot of catches. He is producing a lot. He is having a really, really strong camp. And it is obvious that he is a key part of the Eagles offense this season. He is going to be a slot receiver for the Eagles, and they are counting on him. And I expect Greg Ward Jr. to have a big year. I really like Greg Ward Jr. And I just wanted to say, even though you don't hear me talk a lot about him, you don't hear these beat writers, they're always talking about Hightower, Quez Watkins, Reagor. Greg Ward Jr. is having a really strong, really good camp. And that is a really, really good sign. Okay, I really like this guy a lot. And I just want to make sure he got enough credit. Now, as you guys know, Miles Sanders is out. Boston Scott has returned to practice. He was the number one running back today. Didn't hear a whole lot about him or what he did today in practice. I did hear some good things about Adrian Killins out of the backfield. He caught a beautiful ball on a wheel route where Davion Taylor was trying to cover him. Look, I don't care who you are. I don't care what linebacker you are. You're not covering Killins one-on-one. He's too fast. This kid is a guy you hear about every day. I really can't wait to see how the Eagles are going to utilize him, because I think that the Eagles are really in love with this kid. I really, really do. Jason Peters, as I said, I think Jason Peters overall, even though the offensive line didn't start great, I think he had a really good practice. And there was a lot of talk about how he's really starting to get used to that guard spot, especially how to use his hands and things like that. So a good sign from Jason Peters. Now, on the defensive side of the ball, I got to bring up some names that you keep hearing. Joe Osman every day is disruptive. every day this guy is disruptive. Now, it's going to be a numbers game with Joe Osman. I don't know how the Eagles are planning on keeping him or things like that, but all I know is every day he's in the backfield, every day he's making plays. He had a sack on Hurts today. He also forced a fumble. The guy is very disruptive. Now, he doesn't go against the number one team. He's usually going against guys like Mulata, but he produces every day, and you hear a lot about him. Jannard Avery, right? We heard about him not that much. The only thing we heard is he got a little hurt, a little banged up, went to the tent, went to the locker room. We'll see how he is. But you haven't heard much from Jannard Avery, but you hear a lot from Osman. So what does that mean? Is it going to make a big difference when they run the numbers? I don't know. Fletcher Cox looks pretty good. I think Fletcher Cox is a lot more healthier than last year, but he's been disruptive as well. And T.J. Edwards and Duke Riley at linebacker, both of them making plays today. Duke Riley had a half a sack, and an interception. Apparently he went up to get it. They say the guy could jump. Then you had T.J. Edwards had picked off Nate Sudfeld in the end zone. Another good practice for T.J. Edwards. T.J. Edwards is one of those guys I think is having a pretty. I'm sorry, itching my eyes. This smoke and this air is just driving me nuts. But I think T.J. Edwards is having a pretty good camp as well. One of those guys you're not hearing a lot about, but from everything that I do hear is pretty positive. So he had an interception. Duke Riley had an interception. Jalen Mills had an interception in the end zone, a one-handed pick off Carson Wentz. They're saying that Jalen Mills is having a really, really good camp. Really good camp at the safety position. I think he feels a lot more comfortable than I even thought he would. Now, I know he played safety in college, but I think he's adjusting to that position pretty well. So a really good day for Jalen Mills, Duke Riley, T.J. Edwards on defense. Of course, that defensive line continues to dominate, though, for the most part. Osman, man, guy you got to watch out for. It's really interesting to see what this guy is doing. Now, I have to talk about, once again, that second starting corner position for the Eagles. Avonte Maddox obviously is in the clear lead. I don't even think it's close. Now, they were talking to Jim Schwartz about this, about Sidney Jones being absent, about him missing time. This is like the fourth day in a row he's been injured and not practicing, okay? And you got, less than 3 weeks before the first game. And he said, Jim Schwartz was asked about it. He said, yeah, it's, we're running out of time here. It is a fact affecting the race for the starting job. It is hurting Sidney Jones' chances of starting for him to be injured. And, if it was just 1 year, I would be like, okay, it happens. What are you going to do? But, this is pretty much every year with Sidney Jones. I'm a little bit frustrated by it. I'm a little bit sick of it. Now maybe Sidney Jones eventually gets healthy and he plays during the year and he takes advantage of a situation and becomes a starter. He has a great year. Great. But right now, Avonte Maddox, I think he's got that position locked down. I think he's so far in the lead that it's going to be very, very hard for Sidney Jones, barring injury, to Avonte Maddox or something, to win that spot. I'm really curious what they do with Sidney Jones. If you have a guy like Grayland Arnold, who had another great day for Arnold, great pass breakup, I heard. If he has a really good camp and you have guys like Cravion LeBlanc that you want to keep, you have Roby Coleman, is it a numbers game with Sidney Jones? Do they try to move him cheap? Do they keep him? Do they cut him? Do they just let him go? I don't know, but I know this. If you're not practicing, you're not on the field, that is really going to hurt you. And I'm not sure how happy the Eagles are right now with Sidney. I'm not sure that they're disgusted by him, but I think it's something to keep your eyes on and watch. And that's pretty much what happened at camp today. They'll be back tomorrow. They'll be back on the field. But so far, there's a lot of young guys standing out. There are a lot of guys that we need to have us show something, that are showing us something. Obviously, it's not a game. It's only practice. But so far, so good. And I'll take it. I'll take what we can get. And with that said, let me know what you think in the comment section. Take care. Talk to you later. And don't be a dingbat.